What's up, guys? This is Coach Matt with our Friday workout. It's going to be a Flex Friday. We're going to hit a bunch of volume today. So the overall feel for today should be a moderate amount of heart rate and respiratory rate, but the majority of what you should feel is an intense burning and pump sensation in biceps, triceps, chest, shoulders, back. Right? That should be our focus for today. Getting large sets and relatively short transition times, but not in a metabolic sense, in a muscle fatigue sense. Okay, which coincidentally is metabolic, right? It's just we think of high metabolic intensity as like a Fran workout of like gasping for breath, dripping in sweat, like I can't stand up, everything hurts, right? This should be more localized, and it should not be as much about aerobic. Even though your heart rate will be elevated. All right, so that's the feel for today. Let's begin with 2 rounds through, 90 seconds, your choice, warm-up pace cardio. Get some big arm circles in, then some handstand, either a handstand kick up on the floor here, or if you want to do some wall walk-ups on the wall. If you do wall walk-ups, do no more than 2. Don't spend more than 30 seconds on it, but get upside down. Then we're gonna get 5 to 8 reps, and I want you to warm up 2 movements on the bench. And we're set up for the same for both of them. One of them is our traditional bench press, like so, touch the chest and then elbows straight. The second one with exactly the same setup is our seated press. Obviously, when we do seated press, it will be significantly lighter in terms of your max effort on a seated press versus a bench press, and we're going to use that to our advantage today when we go back and forth between the exercises. So we'll start off today, then finish with a monkey hang, right? If you need a spot with your toes on the ground, but have tension on your hands for 30 seconds, right? So strength-wise today, we are doing 3 sets of 12 reps of the seated press, okay? So that is seated vertical pressing with no legs involved, it's just strict press. Your shoulders should be pretty fatigued, and we will only be in the 55 to 65% of your 1 rep max shoulder press. So not a crazy amount of weight, and whatever we do on this one, you should get all 12 of those reps without putting the bar back in the rack. It doesn't mean you can't stop at your shoulders. It just means if you put it back in the rack before 12, then it was a little bit too heavy and you need to take some weight off so that you can do all 12 reps without putting it in the rack. The next set, our superset, is 24 reps or 12 per leg of our hanging, alternating leg raise from the hollow body position. So hollow body position means like if I'm dead hanging here and my feet are behind the bar, what I want to do is shrug my shoulder blades back and down and engage my abs until my feet are out front, okay? So the position, it'll vary for everybody, but think like 1 to 2 feet in front of the plane of the bar, that my feet always have to stay forward of that plate of the plane of the bar, all right? So no matter where I'm at, whether I'm touching the ground or I'm using a plate underneath me or a box or something to get my feet a target, but I'm keeping those feet out in front as I do those hanging, alternating knee or leg raises, right? And never letting my feet, my core relax and my feet go behind me like this. So I don't want to see those knees bent like this, kind of like running in place. I want to see you engaged and keeping those feet out front, all right? When we finish our 3 sets of shoulder press, we'll keep that whole setup right where it's at, and we're going to do a similar load. You can, if you know that your bench press load is dramatically better than your shoulder press, then go up in weight. But the next part, again, is meant to be lots of reps, not a lot of weight, a lot of localized muscle fatigue, okay? So we'll start off with 15 reps of a narrow grip bench press. So that means when I get to my chest, my hands should hit my rib cage, right? So usually that means about a foot apart for my hands, keeping my elbows tight to my body, right? I don't want your elbows to be flared out to the side or have the bar in your face. Still touch your sternum with it. It's just using a lot more shoulders and a lot more triceps when we do it in that position. 15 reps should get your arms very, very tired. Then we're gonna come out dumbbell or kettlebell push press. So 1 in each hand. Again, 15 reps, now vertical, so dip, drive, press, lock out, dip, drive, press, try to get those elbows all the way straight every rep. Go right into 15 reps of a bent over double dumbbell or kettlebell row, whatever you had in your hands, same weight, 15 reps of that. Then we're gonna go back to the bench, 15 reps now, wide grip. So wide grip, again, this is dependent on you and how long your arms are. Most people should be like an inch or so inside of the weight rack, right? Or the J hooks. Make sure you don't let your hands slide out as you are doing this, or one of them will get pinched underneath the J hook when you try to put it back in the rack. So we are trying to be wide, but make sure that you can safely put it back in the rack when you're done with it. 15 reps. Wide grip bench works your chest and especially like some certain parts of your pecs a little bit more than it does your shoulders and your triceps, like we did on the narrow grip bench press. The next two will be drop sets, and you guys know by now I love my drop sets. So the goal of the drop set is to get lots and lots and lots of reps in a short amount of time, hitting failure the maximum number of times, or getting close to failure the maximum number of times within one set as possible before moving on to the next one, right? We're gonna make a lightweight feel like an incredibly heavy weight by not allowing your muscles to rest and by forcing those reps to keep going at lighter and lighter weights, right? So the first is our plate raise drop set. And I only have one set of these out here, but I'd like for everyone to shoot for 2 drops, right? So you need 3 weights on each of these approximately. And if you want to do more, you can. And the goal is to pick an aggressive weight to start off with so that I can only get into like the low teens with it, raising just above parallel. As soon as I don't feel like I can get that one or it's starting to slow down, I'll set it down, go grab my next one and go until I finish that 30 rep set. Right, and then same thing, dumbbell hammer curl drop set. So I like to walk along a couple rows of dumbbells, but I'm doing from my hips up to my shoulders, keeping my elbows really tight to my body. When I feel like I'm slowing down or I can't get that next one, set them down, walk to the next set of dumbbells, grab them, and then go again, all right? Again, counting up to 30 when we do that. Record your bench press load. I like to record everything in here because it helps me to, when I look back at like 3 years ago, Flex Friday, and I was only able to do 30-pound dumbbells for the starting weight for my dumbbell drop set, and now I can do 45s. Like that's good progress, even though these ones are less objective and they're less hard or less easy to score objectively when you do a workout like that, because it's more about the feel of the muscle and the feel of the localized muscle failure and exhaustion. That's the goal for today, as opposed to X number of reps at X percentage, okay? All right, that's it for Friday. Have a great one. See you guys on Saturday.